On July 2, 1955, 61 people boarded a plane in New York City. They were going to Miami. They never arrived. No distress call, no wreckage, no bodies, no explanation. The plane simply vanished, and for 37 years, the world assumed they were dead. Until the day a vintage aircraft appeared out of nowhere in the skies above Caracas, Venezuela. And the pilot asked a question that made every single person in that control tower go cold. Where are we? This is the story of Pan Am Flight 914, and whether you believe what happened next or not, it will change the way you think about the sky above you. July 2nd, 1955, New York City. It's a warm summer morning. America is in the middle of the post-war boom, optimistic, loud, full of possibility. Rock and roll is on every radio. Eisenhower is in the White House, and flying is still something people dressed up for. Pan American World Airways, Pan Am, is the most glamorous airline on Earth. Their planes are immaculate, their crews impeccably trained. Flying Pan Am isn't just travel, it's an experience. On this particular morning, a Douglas DC-4 is sitting on the tarmac, engines warming up, bound for Miami, Florida. It's a routine flight, 2 hours, maybe a little more. 57 passengers settle into their seats. 4 crew members and 2 pilots take their positions. The captain radios the tower. Clearance is given. Flight 914 lifts off the runway and climbs into a clear summer sky. Everything is normal. For 80 minutes, the flight proceeds without incident. The plane crosses over the Atlantic coastline, heading south. Passengers read newspapers. A child sleeps against a window. A flight attendant serves coffee. And then, nothing. Miami radar shows no approaching aircraft, no distress signal, no radio contact. Flight 914 simply disappears from every screen, every frequency, every trace. The Coast Guard is scrambled. Search teams comb the Atlantic. Nothing is found. Not a seat cushion, not a fuel slick, not a single piece of debris from a plane carrying 61 souls. After weeks of searching, investigators do the only thing they can do. They declare the plane lost at sea. Everyone aboard, presumed dead. The families grieve. They hold funerals for people with no graves. They move forward, because what else can you do? And for 37 years, that is the end of the story. Until it isn't. September 9th, 1992, Caracas, Venezuela. Juan de la Corte is working the afternoon shift at Simón Bolívar International Airport. It's a normal day. Routine traffic. Nothing unusual on the radar. And then, a blip. An aircraft approaching from the north. No flight plan filed. No identification transponder signal. Just an aircraft appearing on radar as if from nowhere. De la Corte attempts radio contact, static. He tries again, more static. The plane continues its approach. Low, slow, descending toward the runway without clearance, without communication, without any of the protocols that every aircraft is required to follow. As the plane gets closer, the ground crews watching from the tarmac go quiet. Something is wrong. Something is deeply, fundamentally wrong. The aircraft is a Douglas DC-4, a propeller plane, a model that stopped being used commercially decades ago, replaced by jets long before this moment. It looks old, not worn, not damaged, old in the way that something looks when it belongs to another era entirely. The plane lands, not gracefully. It touches down hard, bouncing slightly, as if the pilot hasn't landed in a very long time, or as if the runway itself is unfamiliar to him. Ground crews rush toward it, and through the windows, pressed against the glass, wide-eyed, terrified, are the faces of the passengers. They are not calm. They are not confused in the way a delayed traveler is confused. They are panicking. De la Corte finally establishes radio contact. The pilot's voice comes through, and what he says stops every person in that control tower cold. Where are we? We are Pan Am Flight 914, en route from New York to Miami, Florida. We were scheduled to arrive at 9:55 in the morning on July 2nd, 1955. Silence in the tower. Delacorte looks at the date on the wall calendar, September 9th, 1992. He takes a breath, keys the radio, and tells the pilot the truth. "Sir, it is 1992. The response from the cockpit is not words. It is a sound that Delacorte would later say he would never forget for the rest of his life. What happens next takes less than 4 minutes. The pilot does not respond to further communication. The plane, which had been taxiing slowly toward the gate, suddenly stops, and then something falls from the cockpit window. A small object dropped deliberately onto the tarmac below. Ground crews who rush to retrieve it find something that makes no sense, something that will be at the center of every conversation about Flight 914 for decades to come. A calendar, small paper, the kind you'd find hanging in an office or a kitchen from 1955. Before anyone can process what they're holding, the plane's engines roar back to full power. The DC-4 turns, hard, faster than a plane of that size should be able to turn, and taxis back toward the runway. Tower commands the pilot to stop, to hold position, that he is not cleared for departure. The pilot does not respond. Flight 914 lifts off from Caracas Airport and climbs back into the sky, and disappears. No radar contact, no radio signal, no flight path, no destination. Gone, as completely and as impossibly as it had appeared. The Venezuelan and American governments are contacted immediately. Investigators arrive. The tapes from the control tower are confiscated. The calendar that was retrieved from the tarmac, confiscated. Official statements from both governments are identical in their brevity. No comment. Now, let's talk about what people believe happened to Flight 914. Because there are several explanations, and none of them are comfortable. The first theory, time displacement, that Flight 914 flew into some kind of anomaly in 1955, a fold in space-time, a wormhole, a rupture in the fabric of reality that transported the plane 37 years into the future. The passengers appeared dressed in clothing from the 1950s. The plane itself showed no aging. 61 people who left New York in 1955 arrived in Caracas in 1992, and not a single one of them had aged a day. The second theory is perhaps the most disturbing of all, that the plane never went anywhere, that Flight 914 has been flying continuously, without stop, without fuel, for 37 years, trapped in some kind of loop, experiencing time at a rate so different from the world below that what felt like a 2-hour flight was actually decades of absence. That would explain why the passengers looked so terrified, not because they arrived somewhere unfamiliar, but because they looked down and saw a world that no longer looked like theirs. And the third theory, the simplest one, that the story is not real, that Pan Am Flight 914 never existed, that the entire account was fabricated by a tabloid newspaper in 1985 and spread across the internet until millions of people accepted it as fact. That Juan Delacorte never worked a shift in Caracas that day. That the calendar was never found. No Pan Am flight numbered 914 disappearing in 1955 appears in any aviation database. No government ever acknowledged the incident. The story, as far as history is concerned, did not happen. And yet, here is what I keep coming back to. Urban legends don't survive for 40 years on nothing. They survive because they tap into something real. A fear, a doubt, a question that official records cannot fully answer. And the question at the heart of Flight 914 is not really about time travel or government conspiracies. It's about disappearance. It's about the fact that planes, real planes with real people, have vanished from the sky and never been found. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 disappeared in 2014 with 239 people aboard and was never fully recovered. Amelia Earhart vanished over the Pacific in 1937 and was never found. The USS Cyclops disappeared in 1918 with 309 people and left no wreckage. The sky keeps secrets, the ocean keeps secrets, and sometimes the people we lose don't leave anything behind to explain where they went. Flight 914 is probably a story someone invented. Almost certainly. But the reason it spread across the world, the reason it was told in Spanish magazines in the 1970s, republished in American tabloids in the 1980s, shared on the internet in the 1990s and 2000s and beyond, is because it answers a question that real aviation disasters cannot. It says, what if they didn't die? What if they just went somewhere else? What if the people we've declared lost, the ones with no graves, no wreckage, no final radio call, are still out there, somewhere in the sky, pressing their faces against a window, looking down at a world they don't recognize? Juan de la Corte, if he existed, told the pilot what year it was, and the pilot left. Maybe because he couldn't accept it. Maybe because whatever had brought him there, whatever had swallowed 37 years in the blink of an eye, was pulling him back. Or maybe because some doors, once opened, close again before you can decide whether to walk through. Pan Am Flight 914 is a legend, but legends are just the stories we tell when the truth isn't enough. This is Dark Records. I'll see you in the next case.